Being used to something, Louis, I think is the biggest reason why people don't change.
If you don't like something in your life, you can change it.
When the moral code of your life and the moral code of your livelihood don't come together, there's a problem.
Rise and shine.
It's espresso time.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and I am not a morning person, but when you start your day off with a powerful routine that inspires you, like watching one of these videos, it will change your life. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your cup of coffee, know that I believe in you, and get ready for a shot of espresso from Mel Robbins.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Having a breakdown is one of the biggest things on the planet, because what you get is you get a break from your own bullshit, and you can look objectively at where you are, and for the first time look ahead and say, well, what do I want to go create? And 9 times out of 10, if you're discouraged right now, if you've got financial devastation, if you're facing something that is making this moment in time as hard for you as life was for Louis and I in 2008 during the last recession, I beg you, ask yourself honestly if what you had is actually what you wanted. The thing that you just lost, that job that you bitched about all the time.
That relationship that was bad to you. Yeah.
Yes. Or the friends you can't hang out with because it's convenient and you're in quarantine. Mm-hmm. Like, actually ask yourself if this is what you wanted, or were you just used to it? Being used to something, Louis, I think is the biggest reason why people don't change. I asked my mother. I love my mother. I love my parents. I've been married 51 years. Which is a feat because my mom was a teen mom. But I asked her once if she'd go to a personal development seminar with me.
What'd you say?
Are you kidding me? Why would I want to change at my age?
Oh, wow.
I might discover I hate my life.
Wow.
I was like, okay, I'm just going to leave that right there.
If you don't like something in your life, you can change it. This is why we become entrepreneurs, because we don't like something that's going on in our lives, in the world, the people around us. We don't like the way something is done, and we're committed to change it. That's why entrepreneurs are going to solve all the world's major problems. We're not waiting on government. We're not waiting on big corporations. It's us. We're going to solve the problems. You are going to solve the problems. If you don't like something, when most of the world is stuck in complaining and blaming and mediocrity and unhappiness and excuses and I'm too old and I'm too young and I don't have the resources and blah, 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 while most of the world is stuck in that, you're off saying, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to make that happen. And it's just the mindset shift that you have to make and keep and sustain on a daily basis, because it's so easy to fall back down into limited thinking, into fixed mindset, into mediocrity, to feel like, oh, I can't do this. Maybe it can't happen. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe I'm not the person. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't belong. Maybe it works for other people, but not for me, right? It's so easy to go back to that zone. But if you don't like something in your life or your community or the world, you can change it. Be the change you want to see in the world. That's you. You can make that happen. I was sitting down with Nina, my wife, on the weekend, and every weekend we try to spend some time just thinking about our relationship, how happy we are, what changes we want to make, where we want to go, what we want to do. I think it's one of the most valuable exercises that we do together, because it's a constant check-in with each other on life, because life can be so overwhelming, and you're living and I gotta make videos today, and we gotta get this stuff done today, we got these errands to run. And when do you take back some time to pause, to reflect, to think about where you are, where you want to go, and if you're married, to do that with the person who, your significant other. And so we spend time on the weekend doing it. And this past weekend, we're looking at our calendar and our schedule and the things that we had taken on, and I sat down and reminded both of us that we could do whatever we want. Like, as busy as we are, as jam-packed our schedules are, as we're trying to fit everything in, Nina's running errands right now, we're taking the dogs out, I'm filming videos, like, days are compressed because we want to get so much done every day. So as busy as we are, there's no free time set up in a daily calendar. As busy as we are, everything can change. If you're unhappy, if I'm unhappy, everything can change. Everything. I don't have to make videos this week. I don't have to make videos ever again if I don't want to. Like, everything can change. We could move to a different country if we wanted to. Like, whatever you think would solve the problem, at least taking steps towards it. It starts with the recognition that everything can change, that we are in control, that you can change whatever you want to change in your life. You might be thinking, well, that's easy for you, Evan. You've already got a successful business. You've already got a team. You've already got momentum. I'm still stuck and struggling. You may not be in complete control of your schedule right now, but there are hours every day that you are in control. Even if you have a job, you're going to work for somebody else for X number of hours a day, and you're sleeping for X number of hours a day. In that remaining time, that's 8 hours. If you're working for 8 hours and you're sleeping for 8 hours, you still get 8 hours left. What are you doing with those 8 hours? How are you spending the time with your family, on your business? Are you being intentional or not with it? Are you saying, I've only got 8 hours right now that I can spend on my life? Great. How am I going to use that optimally? Are you proud of how you spent those 8 hours today? Are you proud of how you spent those 8 hours yesterday? Are you going to be proud of how you're going to spend those 8 hours tomorrow? And for too many people, it's no. It's just waking up like an accident, responding to other people's emergencies. There's no priority. There's no intention. So you can make that happen. Ultimately, you can control everything because you could go get a different job. You don't have to work at that company anymore. You could be starting your business, right? Ultimately, long-term, you can do whatever you want. You can make the change you want to make. And short-term is recognizing that, hey, you're in control of some of your hours today, and you're always in control of your mindset and how you perceive the things around you. Always. Always. You choose how you react to things. What's the change that you want to start to make? Let me give you a framework that will help you actually start making some change happen in your life to make positive momentum a reality for you. Step one is to do an audit. If you're unhappy, especially consistently, think about how happy you were today. How happy are you right now? How happy were you yesterday? How happy have you been in the past week? Do you feel energetic? Do you feel that you're doing your purpose? Do you feel like you're building momentum? Do you go to bed feeling full and happy? And if not, there's a problem in your schedule. This is where the audit comes into play. If I'm sitting down with Nina once a week and just asking the question of, hey, how are you doing? How are we doing? Where do we want to go? What do we want to build? That's the audit, right? It's taking a breather. It's taking a step back from living your life to analyzing your life and saying, hey, am I still living the life that I want to live? I said I want this. Does it actually match up? Have my goals changed? Has my intentions changed? If you never do any kind of audit, then you're just constantly, again, living in reaction mode, responding to other people's emergencies instead of you living the life that you want. So whether that's today or this weekend, think about an audit for your life. Where do you want to be? How do you want to be spending your time? How much of your days are spent unhappy versus happy, unfulfilled versus fulfilled? And really spend the time to get honest with yourself. Because if you're consistently feeling unhappy, there's something wrong with your schedule. You're not doing the activities that you should be doing. You're not spending the time with the people that you should be spending it with, right? There's a problem there. Let me be very clear and honest in that there's not a problem with you. You're amazing. The point of the exercise isn't to beat yourself down and find all the reasons why you suck. That's not it at all. It's to get to the honest truth of where you're at right now, and then create a better plan going forward. So audit. Step number one, audit. And what I love to do here is pick a day where you don't have a ton of priorities. Nina and I will usually do it on a Sunday. You don't have, like if I had to fit it in on our drive home, right? Nina's doing some errands. I got to go home and make more videos. It's a crazy day for us. If I had to fit it in on our 20-minute drive home, it's too rushed. Like already we haven't set up the environment for success. You need to create space. In order to do a good audit, you have to create space from your current life, from your current environment. So you pick a day where you don't have a lot of stuff planned, or intentionally unplan yourself from that day. Intentionally don't go do the things that you said you were going to do that normally is on your calendar, because you're taking the breather for yourself. Change the actual physical environment. Go to a coffee shop, go to a park, go for a walk outside. Get a breather, get some space for yourself so that you're not trapped by the current environment that you're in right now. It's a big deal. So whether you do it every week, like I try to do with Nina, or even just once a month or once a quarter, do the audit, okay? Step number 1, do the audit. It'll help you identify the areas in your life that are lacking, that are causing unhappiness, that need to change. Step number 2 is you decide to change. You decide to change. This thing that is happening in your life, you don't like it. It's not who you want to be. You know you're capable of more. You don't want to keep living this life. You don't want to live in unhappiness. Something can change. You know it can happen. Let's start to actually make it happen. So we start actually creating some kind of plan to make it happen, right? We want to start building some kind of momentum, and don't put the pressure on yourself that it has to be fixed today, that everything has to be solved today. That's not what's important. What's important is that you're taking the steps, that if you consistently started doing these things every day, that your life will change. And it's the hope. When you can see hope, when you have a plan, you see like that's actually possible, that in, maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, maybe it's 3 months, maybe it's a year, that you're going to get to a happier place, that you're in the process of becoming happier, getting closer to achieving your goals. As long as you have that plan and that hope in place, it allows you to show up and do the work, build the momentum. You may not want to be in that job. Okay, so let's work on a plan for you to get out of that job, so you don't feel stuck, you don't feel handcuffed, you don't feel chained to this life that you don't want to live anymore, right? You want a new life. So start building a plan towards getting there. And even if that means you only spend 2 hours a night working on your business, it's a hope, it's a plan that we're creating to get you out of the job that you don't want. If you want a better relationship with your husband or wife, it doesn't just happen tomorrow. If there's been a lack of attention, a lack of love, you build towards it. And you find the immediate momentum you can take right now. Like tonight, maybe it's just hugging them. Maybe it's just going for a walk for half an hour together and holding hands and asking about their day. Like these are the steps, the micro steps that you take, that if you did that consistently, instead of watching a TV show, not talking to each other, but you went for a walk, held hands, and asked them about their day and talked about their goals and ambitions and dreams. If you did that every day, your relationship's going to look dramatically different 1 year from today. It just will. But we put so much pressure on it, having it be like today, right now. This has to be the big change. And when you don't make that big change, you lock back down into mediocrity, back into self-defeating, back into like, see, I knew I couldn't do it. I tried again and it didn't work. It's not that it didn't work, you just didn't give yourself enough time working on the plan. So if you're unhappy, understand you can make the change. This is why you're an entrepreneur. This is why you're watching this video. This is why you're here. This is why you're investing in yourself, because you don't want to be in the same spot 1 year from today. You want to be further along in your health, in your relationships, in your business, in your impact, in your fulfillment, in your happiness. You want to be in a different spot 1 year from today. And that's entirely possible. That change can happen. You are in control. You can make that happen. But step number 1 is do the audit, the honest assessment of where you're at right now. And give yourself the breather, give yourself the environment change to actually reflect on where you're at and what you don't like in your calendar. Pull up your calendar, look at it, what you don't like, what's making you unhappy. And step number 2 is deciding to change. Deciding to change and making a plan and building some immediate momentum in so that change actually comes to fruition. You got this. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you just get motivated, when you watch a video like this, you just get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of actually following through. That's not good enough, Believe Nation. We are a bunch of action takers. It has to happen. So here's how you do it. When you actually create a plan, when you write down what time, what place, where you're actually going to take action, your number jumps from 35% to 91% chance of following through. And when you commit to other people, like leaving a comment down below, your number jumps to 95% chance of following through. I want that for you. So Believe Nation, your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week, I'm gonna take one of your comments and feature it in a future video so I can celebrate you. Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you wanna have more self-confidence and self-belief, I've created a free program to help you get it. The science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a new habit. So I'm gonna send you an unlisted video for free every day for 254 days to move your self-belief and self-confidence forward. To sign up for free, check the link in the description below.
The prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that you need in order to learn new behavior, in order to do something difficult, in order to do something uncertain, in order to do strategic thinking. You're always going to need to push yourself. You're always going to need to parent yourself.
When the moral code of your life and the moral code of your livelihood don't come together, there's a problem. And that's what was happening. Why performance with purpose was something people felt deep down inside, but struggled to articulate, is because they realized the articulation required investment and required change. But feeling it deep down inside meant that change had to happen. And so I think, Memo, the reason we were both able to make the change, we didn't have the usual critics, but the reason we were able to make the change is everybody felt the need for change deep down inside. So, it caught on, and I hope it continues that way. But at the time, we were ahead of the pack. But if you really want to have a good company, you have to be ahead of the pack. There's no point doing it after the horse has left the barn.
If you want another amazing Mel Robbins video, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Happiness is not about achieving things. It's not about getting the result.
And if you feel that every day for too long, that's depression.
The journey is the reward. The work is the reward.